What is up, and welcome to the Talking Smack Show. We are recapping and reviewing Raw from last night in London, England. We open the show up with John Cena coming out. We're 3 weeks away from WrestleMania, so after this show, we've only got 2 more Raws to go. And before he could speak a word, Cody Rhodes' music hit, and there he came walking down to the ring. He was looking regal as he had this gold suit, this gold pinstripe running through his blue suit. And I thought he looked like he was off to go and watch tennis at Wimbledon. He also had a Blue Peter badge on. I don't watch Blue Peter anymore, but I'm guessing he went on Blue Peter this week. And it started off, they were talking. Honestly, it's getting a little bit samey. And at first, I wasn't really interested. Then John Cena said, "I'm not going to cook you. I'm going to bury you." And he started listing how supposedly he's buried every other superstar before him. And I really like that he's really tapping into sort of the frustration that he's probably carried for years up to this point, from really carrying WWE on his back, literally the only thing really keeping the show going for years and years, or certainly the biggest thing keeping the show going for years and years. And he just got criticized for it by so many for so long. So he gets to vent that out, which is pretty cool, I think. He said to Cody, "I'm going to bury you. I bury mediocrity." He doesn't bury superstars. He just buries the ones who aren't good enough, just like Cody Rhodes. I thought that was a really good moment. And then Cody responded basically saying that Cena is just Vince's. He wouldn't use Vince's name. He said the guy we can't talk about. But he basically said, "You're just Vince's creation." And then at one point he responded, "You've got more dick in that promo than in your jorts." And they finally mentioned The Rock and how Cena was the one who actually sold out to The Rock, not Cody. And then then Cena was walking away and Cody said, "You can't wrestle." And that, out of everything, was the final straw. Cena went to attack Cody and Cody attacked and hit the crossroads. Like I said, to start off with, I wasn't really feeling it. But by the end, once Cody hit the crossroads, I was jumping up and down. I thought it was a really, really good segment. And I just really enjoyed it. I'm pumped. I know some people aren't really like feeling this and they're not really looking forward to WrestleMania. And I think they're weird. I love it. I loved it, man. I'm buzzing. So after that, we had New Day coming out. Last week, they had declared that they were going to be competing for the tag team titles at WrestleMania. And when they came out, they announced themselves as the greatest tag team to ever step into the ring. And I mean, like, they're certainly like a Mount Rushmore team, right? I started watching wrestling in like the late 90s, so I can't compare anything before that. But I would say probably like Mount Rushmore for me would be the Dudleys, the Hardys, New Day, and the Usos probably are my like greatest, like in terms of like longevity, managing to stay relevant for as long as they did, titles, great wrestlers, like everything put together. I'd have to say those 4 teams personally. I mean, like Edge and Christian were great at the time, and Edge went on obviously to have an incredible solo career, but I don't think as a team they have that same longevity and greatness as the others. And there are other teams as well in the conversation. Again, not longevity, but New Age Outlaws were just so exciting at the time. We've had some of these sort of like short-lived tag teams, like when Triple H and Shawn Michaels had a run as DX, Brothers of Destruction. There have been loads of great tag teams, but I would say those 4 are my Mount Rushmore personally. But they said, despite this, Adam Pearce had told them they had to earn their shot against a mystery opponent. So I'm like, oh, who's it going to be? I was really excited. And it was New Catch Republic. I couldn't give a shit about them. Got to be honest. I like Tyler Bate, big strong boy. And I don't hate Pete Dunne, but as a tag team, I find them so boring. Like at the moment, I don't think we really get their personality coming through as a team, especially as they didn't even get given a promo on their return. They just had a match straight away without even like walking down to the ring with a microphone. So I really felt like that moment was lost in more ways than one. Like it was an underwhelming mystery team, and then we didn't even give them a chance to build it up. I like Tyler Bates had a haircut and he's looking more or less like he did when he was the NXT UK champion. And I think he looks smarter, looks cooler, more interesting, more unique. And he was looking good in the match. However, New Day won. They did the Daybreaker and got the pin. So they're going to WrestleMania as for the tag team belts. At the end, what are they called? The War Raiders came out and just sort of confronted them, and that was the end of that. Next, we had Gunther versus Big Jimmy Uso. I thought this was a great match. Dare I say it, I think Jimmy Uso is probably better in the ring than Jay, but Jay is definitely like got more charisma, got the crowd really on his side. But Jimmy is smart in the ring. Like he looks really good. He hit the splash on Gunther, but Gunther kicked out. Obviously, like the frog splash is Jimmy's finisher. So at that point, we knew how this was going to play out, right? And Gunther pretty much just terrorized Jimmy for the rest of the match. He hit a drop kick and a power bomb, pinned Jimmy, pulled Jimmy up before the 3 count. He hit a big boot and a clothesline, went for the pin, pulled him up again, and then finally landed the sleeper, got the win, walked off, came back and got Jimmy in the sleeper again. Jay ran down and chased off Gunther. Jimmy was like flat out at this point. The medical response from Raw was pathetic. Jimmy got like 2 people and a pack of ice or something like that. So then Jay was helping Jimmy walk back to backstage, and Gunther showed up again and just decimated both of them. Smashed Jay from behind, took out Jimmy. Security ran down. He powerbombed security onto the steps. He smashed up another. Security had cable ties. Never seen them have them before. But Gunther took the cable ties and cable tied Jimmy's arm to the ropes. And then he just fucking took Jimmy apart. Like he beat the shit out of Jimmy again and again, right in front of Jay. Jay was struggling against the ropes, couldn't get away. At one point, Gunther dragged Jimmy in front of Jay and just carried on, smashing him up. And I was lit up over this. And I think for the first time probably since Jay won the Royal Rumble, I was buzzing for this match. This was like the most heinous, villainous thing we have seen in the build-up for WrestleMania by miles and miles, in my opinion. I'm finally excited for this rivalry. Well done, Triple H. Well done, WWE. I cannot fucking wait now for this match. Like, Jay has so much, like, the slip-in was just pathetic. Like, who cares? But dismantling his twin brother, like, finally this rivalry has some heat in it. So next we had Penta and Bron Breakker versus the Judgment Day. Obviously not Carlito. Carlito came down with them, but it was Dom and Finn. There was, like, the match was all right. There was one moment, though, how to describe it. Penta, I think it was Finn was in the corner, like on the floor, and Penta did a handstand off the turnbuckle and dropped into a drop kick, and it was beautiful, I thought. And then he did a flip over the ring, and it's like, man, this guy is so good in the ring. It was so exciting. Then the match went on. Carlito distracted the referee. Dom maybe grabbed Penta at one point and interfered. Bron Breakker ran in for the spear on Finn. Dom pushed Penta in front of Finn, and Bron speared Penta, his tag team partner. And then I think Dom ran and pushed Bron out of the ring, and Finn delivered the coup de grace to Penta and got the win. So then later on, backstage, Bron was... What point was that? Yeah, Bron was being interviewed, and Penta showed up furious, calling him stupid, and implying that Bron did it on purpose. Don't think he did, but doesn't really matter. I don't think Bron probably gives a shit, to be honest. Bron Breakker's like in that phase of he's not a good guy, he's not a bad guy, he's just smashing people up at the moment, and it's great to watch. Then behind backstage later on, Judgment Day were all hanging out, and Finn was buzzing, saying that he had beaten Penta and Bron again, and how excited he was. He was going to go and demand a title match from Adam Pearce, because he had shown again that he really deserves to get a title shot. And then as he left, Liv was... Ooh, she's a bad girl, man. Liv was like, did you hear what he said? Dom was very happy, all jovial, like they're all thriving. He's like, Liv was like, he said that he won, not us. And then she's like, don't worry, I'm going to sort this out, baby. And then she like left, and I think so she's now going to Adam Pearce saying that Dom deserves a match. So it looks like we're going to have that fatal four-way where we're going to have Bron Breakker as champion, Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio going for the Intercontinental title. And then obviously we've also got Carlito, probably not in the match, but hanging around. And I'm really excited. I'm ready for this incarnation of Judgment Day to break up. I think Finn's had a really good run as a heel, but I'm over it now. I would like Dom to win the title, Carlito to still be his friend, and then Liv and Raquel to be the Judgment Day moving forwards. And Finn can go away, have a little holiday, come back to England, watch Spurs a couple of times, and then he can come back as maybe the Demon and go for the belt against Dom in a few months' time and win the title then. And that would be my ideal run for this belt and this storyline finishing off. And then Bron Breakker can probably go for the world title quite soon. He's ready for it personally, I'd say, especially working with Paul Heyman. I think that what I feel with Bron Breakker is every time they elevate the opponent or who he's working with, he seems to elevate his game as well, and it's just shining. So I would be more than happy. He doesn't have to win the title at this point, but I would be more than happy for Bron Breakker to really step up into the main event scene moving on. So then backstage, we had Chad Gable talking to Adam Pearce, really praising El Grande Americano and how excited he was. Adam Pearce looked pretty exhausted by it all. And then Adam Pearce was saying how he hears that Chad Gable's still sick. Chad Gable pulled out a medical note, and Adam Pearce said how disappointed he was, given that they're in Minneapolis next week. So Chad won't be able to have a match, Minneapolis being Chad Gable's hometown. I thought he had like a Milwaukee accent, but I'm not very good with America. And then Chad was saying that, no, I can do it. And then Adam Pearce said, well, no, you're not having a match. We can't go against medical, but El Grande Americano will have one. And also at one point, Chad Gable mentioned that he would love to be in the same room as El Grande Americana. It just made me laugh. Like, I'm so childish with this sort of stuff. This silly stuff is the stuff that I love in wrestling. I don't need like bats with nails being stabbed into someone. I want people pretending to be someone else. That's enough for me. I'm a simple guy. So then we had AJ Styles come out to the ring. He called out Logan Paul. Logan Paul got booed. Like, he gets booed everywhere, but this London crowd was hatred. I don't think he's a heel at this point. I think he's just disliked. I I don't really have an opinion on Logan Paul. I think there's real benefits to it, particularly for the WWE, the exposure he brings, being able to utilize his podcast, so on and so forth, is great. But I really feel like his work in the ring and his character has really stagnated, and it's not that it's bad, it's just boring at the moment. But AJ challenged Logan Paul to a match right there and then. Logan Paul did the whole talking about being rich and I don't fight for free, and that he would have a match at Mania. Then he went for a cheap shot against AJ. AJ caught his foot and went for the Styles Clash. Or is it? Oh, I can't remember. But Logan got away. AJ chased him, threw him back into the ring. As AJ went to get into the ring, Logan Paul sort of pulled the ropes up into his dick. And AJ, as any man would, dropped like a sack of shit. And then Logan Paul did the pulverizer. Now, whilst I say that Logan Paul has stagnated, which he without a doubt has, I'm hoping he's doing a shitload of training though. But that move, the pulverizer, that is sick. That is a fucking cool move, man. And then the whole crowd were chanting, YouTube wanker, again and again and again. I would say like the crowd last on SmackDown on Friday, I would say the crowd were probably like louder they were singing constantly, like non-stop through the show. Whereas this Monday crowd, probably because it's a weeknight, they probably weren't as drunk, so they weren't having as much fun, but they were like angry crowd. Like it was a good crowd. It gave a good atmosphere, in my opinion. So then we came to the main event, and it was Iyo Sky versus Rhea Ripley. Bianca Belair, special referee. Guest referee, whatever we call it. So I was pretty excited about this. I think Iyo Sky is cool as fuck, and Rhea Ripley is awesome. Bianca Belair came out dressed in the like traditional referee attire, but personalized, like a striped bikini and black booty shorts, basically. But then I was thinking, like, that's not what the referees wear anymore. It's probably just me getting hung up on this. But I was like, surely she should be wearing that sort of like grey teal colour. But that's probably just me being a little bit autistic and I need to chill out and not worry about it. So the match started off pretty slow. During it, like Michael Cole, Wade Barrett was there for some reason, I guess just because he's in England. It was making me laugh. Like they were scrapping at each other the whole show. They were just like bickering. It was hilarious. I really enjoyed it. I like those two together. I think Cole's obviously the best play-by-play, and I'd say Wade Barrett's probably the best color commentator at the moment. And I think with Wade Barrett and Pat McAfee being on the show together, it like you could see actually Wade Barrett's, in my opinion, significantly better commentator. However, obviously Pat McAfee has things like a 500,000 daily podcast that he brings, a real sports reference, and he is quite funny. But maybe pay-per-views, in my opinion, should be Cole and Wade Barrett, or the three of them moving forwards. And also we had announced that Cole and McAfee are going to be hosting the Hall of Fame show. So the match started off. It wasn't great at first, but it like what I really liked about it was that it went through the gears and it got better and better and better. And it was a real nice comparison of that really, really technically outstanding wrestler, Iyo Sky, and the fantastic power, but with it still being technically strong, Rhea Ripley, which personally I don't think we see that often in wrestling. That's why like Nia Jax is, although I can't stand Nia Jax, she gets so many matches because her style is so different to the other women. So it was a really nice contrast in the match where Iyo Sky is obviously smaller, but magnificent in the ring. Like she is, personally, I would say she's by far the most talented in the ring out of all the women, and her personality is coming through more and more in matches and in promos. I just love Iyo Sky, like not like the way I love Liv, but Iyo Sky is magnificent, such a talent. So like at one point, Iyo Sky did this beautiful drop kick from the turnbuckle and diving crossbody through the ropes, and it was just spectacular. And then Rhea Ripley sort of grabbed her and threw her around. Then there was a close pin that Rhea had, and I think like Rhea thought it was short. However, they went to adverts at that point. If you're going to have a near pin, don't cut, even if it's for a second, to an advert. It does not work. But the match carried on, and as you can imagine, as we went through the match, Rhea started getting more and more annoyed at Bianca being the referee. So then Iyo Sky went for the Rhea Ripley went for Riptide, and Iyo countered it and went for a roll up. Belair did a pretty standard pin, and then Rhea hit the Riptide. But wait, sorry, I've got lost. At one point, sorry, there was a really close pin, and then Bianca got knocked out of the ring by Rhea, and then Rhea hit the Riptide, but there was no referee. So Rhea started having a full-on tantrum, screaming, like the count went on past 10. And I was really frustrated at this point that they made Iyo look so weak. Like, just have the count get to 4 and she kick out. It didn't add anything to me. I feel like this match. So I'll get back to this in a moment. So then later on, Iyo was on the ropes, like that. Rhea carried on attacking Iyo. Bianca rightly pulled her off of the ropes because it was the 5 count, and then Rhea pushed Bianca away. Bianca accepted it and carried on. Then Iyo went for a drop kick off the turnbuckle. Rhea moved and she hit Bianca. Bianca fell out of the ring, called a double DQ. Then Rhea and Bianca were going at it outside the ring because obviously being a double DQ, Rhea had now lost her title opportunity. And so Rhea attacked Bianca. Iyo did a moonsault outside onto the pair of them and went back into the ring. Then Bianca came back into the ring and attacked Rhea. Then Rhea attacked Iyo. Then Rhea came back and attacked both of them, and she just decimated them and then stood in the middle holding the title up. Now, I feel like they have just, like, the storyline has been that Iyo Sky isn't getting the respect that she deserves. However, I also feel like WWE aren't giving Iyo Sky the respect she deserves in that she hasn't been made to look strong in this at all. So surely they have to have Iyo Sky win the title now, because otherwise they've just discredited her the whole way through, and then she'll have had a really pathetic run. So my prediction is that Iyo Sky will win the title, pinning Bianca Belair. That's what I'm hoping. And then I think maybe Rhea Ripley will move to SmackDown, where she can then have a match with Jade Cargill, although Charlotte and Jade Cargill are going to have... I've not ironed out all the creases, but I would like Iyo Sky to win the title and then Becky Lynch come back at the end of WrestleMania and sort of like square off with Iyo, perhaps as a heel. Maybe she can attack Becky, because I think we're in Seth Rollins' heel era, so they could be a villainous couple. That would be nice. I don't know. Other predictions. I think Jay will have to beat Gunther. He has to beat Gunther. And then I would be open to Jimmy and Jay having a rivalry, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Jay's next opponent after Gunther will be possibly a heel Bron Breakker, or maybe a heel Sami. No, I don't know. Because Sami Zayn is going to have to reignite the rivalry with KO at some point. because Sammy's out at the moment, and I realised that was probably because of Eid. That it worked well being him him being written out. Who is gonna fight Jay next? I don't know. Write in the comments who you think would be the best opponent for Jey Uso next. Perhaps, I don't know. Maybe Roman Reigns move-in show. Maybe CM Punk. Heel Seth Rollins would make a lot of sense. I don't know. All right. Well, I really enjoyed this, particularly the ladies at the end and Gunther and Jimmy. I think it really set WrestleMania up better. There have been moments where I've been starting to feel a bit worn, a bit fatigued, but I think we're now at that point where leading into WrestleMania, we're going to take off. So if you would like any help to look a little less Otis and a little more Kira Tozawa, scan the QR code in the bottom, check my website out in the link, Foundations Health Coaching. Until then, I'll see you on after Friday show. I'll see you Saturday morning. Peace.